businessman. Yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman. Yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman. Yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Coach Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And today, folks, we're going to have an amazing show. We got a great guest waiting in the wings to come on. She's going to tell you all about entrepreneurship, relationship, and love, and all that good stuff. But before we do that, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to us, so the Business Zone, for all these years. What's it, 6 years now, Crystal?
6 years.
6 years. So we want to thank you guys, and don't forget to go to YouTube and click that subscribe button. Also, click the like button, like our videos. We provide content for small businesses. We help you guys to become business ready, contract ready, loan ready, nonprofit ready, all kinds of readiness. And
all kinds of readiness. All the readies.
All the readies. With 2023 coming up, guys, you want to be ready. So tune in to us here. And my co-host and superwoman, Crystal, she can tell you all about that. Crystal?
Welcome, everyone. Happy holidays. I guess everyone should be in the Christmas mode. Soon as I dispense, send my clients off to be with their family, I will be in the Christmas mode. It's been I'm tired. It feels like it's December. I feel exhausted, and it's in December. So I want to wish you all a happy holidays. I challenge everyone to take off next week, because ain't nothing gonna happen anyway. And take time out for your family. Use that time to plan for 2023 for your business. Just disconnect. So when you come back in January, you'll be nice and fresh. Trust me, guys, your coaches can't do anything else for you this year.
you know, Crystal, my birthday is coming up December 28th.
Yes.
So I'm already celebrating. I'm celebrating usually when I have my birthday, I celebrate for the whole month, 30 days. So
okay.
I've already started this weekend. I'm getting ready to kick off the celebration. So we're going to take it on till January. I'm going to take it to the end of January. So that's how we're going to do it.
All righty then. Well, you early birthday. I'm sure I definitely will be talking to you before.
Oh yeah.
I think we have one more show this year. This year next week,
yes.
And then after that we will be in holiday mode until the 6th of January. So I want to welcome you all to the Business Zone. As Gilbert said, you can find us on all social media platforms. So go on over there and hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel so that you get notifications of our shows every Friday afternoon, as well as our Facebook, our Instagram, our LinkedIn page. I even think we have a Twitter account. I don't know how long that's gonna go on, because I don't know how long Twitter gonna go on. I don't do a lot of tweeting, so it really won't hurt me, not one little solitary bit. But I don't know. The dude is on a downward spiral right now.
Yeah. See, that's what happened to autocrats when they are used to doing certain things and then they take over a new environment. They think they can use the same autocratic strategies and approaches to get things accomplished. So now he's learning the hard way that you gotta massage a situation. You can't mix vinegar and water together, or vinegar and oil, or whatever, right? It doesn't work that way.
I think he's on a journey like the former president was.
Yeah.
I think he's along that same pathway, and I think everything has gone to his head, and his ego has gotten bigger than the planet, and so he's struggling with that. But I've learned something. You know, he's a billionaire, but if he keeps going at the rate he's gonna be right down there with us. Yeah. But I have learned that pretty much he has kind of bought his way into all of his companies. I think the only
sounds familiar, right?
Yeah, I think the only company he started was, I actually don't even think that. I think it was the predecessor to PayPal, but it was actually an online bank, which he actually took over and absorbed, and then it kind of converted to a PayPal. But it's not like he's gone, and I don't think he started any of these businesses from scratch. I think he made big money on a really good investment, and then he just bought businesses. That's what.
See, that's what we say all the time, that trust fund babies are nothing in comparison to real entrepreneurs, because real entrepreneurs have to scruff their knees and they have to struggle in the trenches, go without dinner and hear a million no's before they hear one yes. But as a trust fund baby, you get handed a big pile of money and say, hey, go do it. And then, family members make a phone call and you're in. That's how it is. So they don't understand the struggles that real entrepreneurs go.
So starting a business from the ground up, and these businesses already had a team, a staff, or individuals that were specialists in their area. Whereas those of us that are entrepreneurs, we actually have to wear all the hats, right? We wear all the hats in the beginning until we are able to afford to bring on that talent. And sometimes that talent doesn't come until way down the line because we really can't afford that kind of talent. But in their case, in his case, so I think he's having being that, and this is what I learned, and when our guest comes on, Cassie, because she's in the tech industry, this is what I learned from my experiences when I worked with a .com early days, right? Yeah. They have these amazing ideas. They're brilliant when it comes to coding and programming and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And then they have, because they're kind of like anti-establishment, right? So they don't really like all the rules and regulations that go along with business, right? With running a corporation. So they come along and say, I'm not having any of those rules. I ain't doing none of that. We just going to be free spirits working in the business. Well, now you got to take that coding and that programming and that great idea, and you got to create a business model, and that business model got to make some money, right? And I think that's what happened. So a .com company that I work for, they really didn't have that experience, and so they got the money, but then they blew through like $12 million in 10 months, and they really never generated any revenue to be able to go back in for their next round of investment. So that's been my experience in quite a few of those companies. You have some that really bring on, really great CEOs or at least consultants and advisors and mentors that they'll listen to. Bill Gates probably is an exception to that rule, and in the early days, the ones that actually had physical products, I think is a different story. But your Facebooks, your Twitter, really, where is the business model other than marketing, right? But they had to grow into that marketing piece. What do you think about that?
I agree. I totally agree, man. And you've seen the historical evidence of this, in many of the other companies. It's the same thing, the same trend, the same approach. And, many of these guys, they don't learn from their follies. They just try to keep doing things, sticking that square peg in that round hole, thinking they're going to get a different result, and it doesn't work. It does not work. It does not work.
So that's what I've kind of seen in my experience. And so we'll get some input from Miss Cassie, because obviously that's her area. But I do know businesses have to make money to stay in business, and you can't just keep dumping money into a company and not getting some sort of result, because you will deplete everything. And so I think he's throwing things up at the wall right about now to see what's going to stick.
I just think,
it's kind of sad though.
See, it's amazing how many of these leaders, right? They approach a situation in the marketplace not thinking, or well, maybe they didn't, go the proper leadership training, but situational leadership is what most leaders do, because every situation is different. So when you enter a certain situation, you got to use all your strategies, skills, and expertise to make sure you manage that situation and make sure your followers and everyone is happy. They're compliant. They do what they're supposed to do, but at the same time feel good about doing it for you. These guys are coming in autocratically and going, "Hey, we don't want this anymore." You saw that link I sent you, right? Where he's doing this meeting, this Facebook meeting, right? Or Zoom meeting, and he said, uh, employee 304, what do you think some of the challenges are? And the employee said, well, we're working too long of an hour. We need to work 30 hours a week, 25 hours a week instead of 40. And he said, we need time for ourselves. We need to chill. He said, oh, yeah, I agree with you. You need to chill. You're fired. So he fired him right on the spot, telling him that you need 25 hours. I think you should be working 60. But since you need that, there you go. Now you have all the time in the world. And just that's just how autocrats are. They don't see it from the employee standpoint. And if they did studies, Crystal, they would have seen that employees are more productive if they work from home instead of going into the workplace.
And even employees are more productive if you make them feel that they're an important part of the management of the establishment, right? We all know that without your employees, to scale your business to the next level is utterly impossible, right? You can run a business, but you're running it. So your employees are a vital part of your whole concept, your mission, your vision, everything. So if you stroke them and encourage them, any kind of interaction. I mean, heck, we're talking about balancing relationships and love and that kind of stuff. If you stroke your mate, you'll get more from them.
That's right.
Down and nagging them. So it's just about relationships. Even your children. You can't be authoritarian with your children and expect them to come out to be healthy human beings. You gotta encourage, and you gotta show love and affection and that kind of stuff. So
our field correspondents just checked in, Mr. Gregory Sneed. He said, take 2 minutes out of every 60 to rest. Not all people can work efficiently at home. Many distractions.
And it depends on the industry. I mean, that's very, very, it definitely depends on if what type of industry you're in. But I know for me, since, my business has been remote, boy, I almost wish sometimes I was in an office so I could take a 15-minute break. A legal 15-minute break.
Let's see, our field correspondent, he takes like 50-minute break and only work for 10 minutes. So
but anyway, we're gonna have a great show today. We are back to what?
And today, folks, instead of running the show until 4:30, we're gonna have to run it until 4 because my co-host has a date.
Actually, she has. It's the holiday season. She has holiday party commitments.
she has a holiday date, folks, so she has to leave early. So
so I gotta go get all gussied up and find some energy, take some energy drink so I can go do it for hours, then come home and rest. But it's the holiday season, so you gotta put everything into it in these last 3 weeks at the end of the year.
So you want to bring in our co-host?
Yeah, so we're excited. So guys, we started this series a month or so ago, talking about balancing business, love, and relationships. That as an entrepreneur, sometimes it's difficult to make all of those things happen because as an entrepreneur, just kind of what we were saying, you put everything into your business, and a lot of times you don't have too much left, and you don't have a lot of patience for the nonsense. You don't have patience in your business sometimes, but you definitely don't have patience for the nonsense. So we're going to talk about that today. But Miss Cassie, we've had a psychologist talk to us about this subject, and we've had one other single female. So today we have another single female, but she's she is such an amazing, dynamic woman. So we're going to find out what her experiences have been out there in this dating world. She is a mother and a parent, and she has been married before, so that takes on a whole nother kind of picture when you're going out to look for that next person, because you truly know what you don't want. And so with that, I am going to bring on our guest, Miss Cassie Betts.
All right.
Absolutely love her. Hey, Miss Cassie.
Welcome to the Business Zone, Miss Cassie Betts.
Hey, y'all. Hey.
And just for those of you who are just tuning in and you don't know who this lady is, this lady was and still is a model. She's a model, guys.
But more than that, she is a techpreneur, and she's been in the tech world since she was and she will talk to you about how she got into this world. But since she was a young child, about 9 years old, her father challenged her, and since that time, she has taken on a true. She's become a pioneer, and you guys have heard that in the tech world, we represent. Can you hear me?
Yeah, like, does he need to get that?
Yeah. And he has such a loud phone, like it's an old school desktop, right?
I'm trying to turn it off, and it's not turning off. I'm going, wait a second.
But I miss those days. I miss those days where you could be like, click, click. You know what? I'm good. We're done. Click, 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 click.
Now you got to try to press the right button so they don't get offended.
But she is a business owner. She has a nonprofit called MISLA, right? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
made in, and I just learned this, made in South LA. So very creative. And she just founded another program called M.A.R.T.Y, Making a Reality That's Yours. And this is, I think it caters more to the young people. Young adults, young people. And so with that, welcome, Miss Cassie. You can tell us all the rest about you, because that was just a brief overview, but more than a model. She's beautiful, but she's so much more.
I was telling them on the break, I was like, it's like when I go on a date or when I meet someone, or if I have a profile, like a dating app profile, I'll list all my accolades, CEO of a tech company. We build software, we build apps, branding, digital marketing. I'm a founding member of Black Women in Tech, like all the things, and then I'm like, oh yeah, and I was a model. And they're like, you were a model?
They didn't hear anything else. All they heard was a model. They go, really now?
Nothing else. They don't talk about nothing else. But Hawaii, back then I grew up in Hawaii, and then about because it's exotic, So they tell all their boys, like, I'm dating a Hawaiian model.
Well, from this point on, I'm gonna have to let all my clients know, hey, I got an associate and she's an Hawaiian model, so you may want to talk to her.
which is very apropos for the topic today, right?
Oh my God. I'll be like, but I'm not a model, bro. Like, I was 25 years ago.
Once a model, always a model.
Pounds ago. That was 25 pounds.
Okay. Before the babies and all that stuff. Tell us a little about who Cassie Betts is and what makes her tick.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, like you said, I'm a mother. That's the first thing that makes me tick. Okay. I'm a community servant. Philanthropy is big for me, and what the things we do in the community. MISLA made in South LA. We train youth in technology, primarily software engineering. but also branding, digital marketing, content creation, UX, UI design, which is like web design, app design, all things tech. Coming up, we're having some video game design and development, some blockchain classes possibly in 2023. Just all things that can get our youth and community, because we also work with adults, our youth and community to the bag as soon as possible, so that we can build generational wealth and stay in our communities. Like South Central LA, South LA is getting gentrified. Like, how we gonna stay? Wealth. What I'm saying? We got bags on bags on bags. We're not concerned about low income housing.
I think we talk a lot about wealth, but we probably should define wealth to many of our small businesses, because folks in the community, they think that wealth means rich. I'm rich. But there's a difference between rich and wealth.
Yeah, like what is rich?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even like thinking that.
They might make $1 million and $2 million, and they say, "Oh, I'm rich." But wealth is when you have like $100 million to $1 billion, and you've got resources, you got real estate. You're investing into things. You've got money you could pass down to as legacy to your next generation. That's what we call wealth. When you own theaters or marketplace activities.
Right. And I also think wealth is defined as making money for you, as opposed to you making money for it. No matter what you do, where you go, your money is already duplicating itself massively, and it's legacy building, right? Because it goes on for many, many, many generations, and that's when you are wealthy. Rich, you could be rich today and be poor tomorrow. If you won the lottery, you'd be rich. But if you spent it all and gave it all away to Uncle Sam because you didn't know how to manage it, then you'd be poor.
Right.
Absolutely. And these are lessons that we teach in addition to all the technology, like financial literacy, real estate development. It's like our first class of summer bootcamp is financial literacy and real estate, because like how are you going to spend all that money?
Exactly.
Invest in yourself, build wealth.
Right.
And that's part of the thing that happens in some of the communities, right? Where you see it's turning gentrified right now, is because the folks who were there, they never thought about how they can, try to access wealth and let it stay and grow there in the community. Many small businesses that Crystal and I know in the community, and even you, Cassie, they've been there for 20 years, but all they're doing is renting the spot. They don't own the spot. They rent it for 20 years. And if you look at it, hey, what if they had bought that spot for 20 years? They would have probably paid for it already and be able to lease out a part of it to another small business, So
then it's making money for you.
Yes.
As opposed to you making the money for yourself.
Yes.
So, Cassie, can you share with us how you got into the tech world? What was the motivator there?
How I got into tech. So, I was a kid. I was like the nerdy kid in tech in class with the glasses, and my father worked for Lockheed, and it was just like I was a mess. I was like elementary school, middle school, and then maybe in high school I started to get kind of cool because I was like, oh, like this is not working, I have no friends, so I was like, this computer thing is cute, but this ain't it, So I stopped like all computer stuff, around high school, and I got into fashion. And I moved here to LA from Hawaii. And then the fashion space, I just realized it's just so antiquated. Like, I'm talking like they might as well send carrier doves instead of, they just barely started using email when I fashion.
So there's no digital presence there, huh?
Man, now it's getting there, but for the most part, even still, majority of the fashion industry, their technology is Illustrator, Photoshop, Microsoft Excel. Like, that's
Lord.
it. It is
wow.
And I remember just being there like, wow, I really I searched for software, for fashion software, and there was none. And then when they did create it, it was just really complex and complicated. So that was my first like in the tech. I was like, oh, I'm gonna make some fashion software. And then I realized like how incredibly difficult that would be. And I decided to work on like SaaS, like software as a service.
Oh, okay.
Build SaaS
that's
platform.
what Small Biz Pro is, you know, SaaS.
Exactly, which took me a year to even know what that was, honestly. You know, I just knew, I was like, I gotta build something for my people, you know, passion people. And when I started to get in and figure that out, I was just like, where are the Black people? You know what I'm saying?
Cassie, you're funny.
I was like, where are the women? You know, I was like, it was just like all white men and then like one Indian guy, you know, and me. And I was like, this is weird. Yeah, so I just thought it was really fun.
She said, all white dudes and one Indian guy.
One Indian guy. You know, and me just standing out like a sore thumb, and the person everybody assumes I am, not knowing nothing. I didn't at the time. So it's interesting to walk back into those spaces now that I, you know, am very well seasoned and you know, I'm in tech. It's a different vibe. But yeah, that's how I got in. I started a fashion tech company called District 2. It was where like people could come on and let's say you wanted to make 1,000 of those shirts, Gilbert, you could post a project, like I want 1,000 of these, and factories would bid on it and you could hire from our platform. So that's
okay. I like that.
Yes.
I like that. We should promote that some more. We're gonna have you back on the show in January.
Are you
still doing
that?
No,
oh, you're not.
I really wanted to focus on you know, the community. Like I was just like,
okay.
The bigger problem here is not, you know, fashion. You know, they fine. They're gonna be fine.
They're fine.
The problem is, where are the Black people? You know,
they've been gentrified.
You know, and I was like, all this stuff is being created, and where are the Black people? You know, like where are the Filipinos? You know, my mom, where are the Filipinos? Where are the Mexicans? Like you creating all this stuff for us, but we ain't creating it with you. There's gonna be some problems, as we've seen throughout the years on some of the things that have been created. You know, the fact that you know, AI didn't even recognize Black people at first. Was running them over because no one thought to have Black people test the products, you know. So yeah, so
you know, my co-host Crystal told me about how funny you are. I didn't know you were this funny.
Yeah, she's hilarious. She's got so much personality.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't think everybody appreciates that.
Well, you know,
I'll be on a date and I'll be like cracking jokes, and he'll.
I can imagine.
Well, I can tell first of all, for him, I'm like, this ain't gonna work.
Right. First of all, here she is in tech. Not that finally that she didn't got them past the fact that she's Hawaiian and she's a model. Now she's like, okay, I'm in tech, and they're like, oh, okay, so that means she's gonna be kind of techie, right?
Yeah.
Kind of nerdy. And then,
nerdy.
Then she comes out with this personality. They're like, what the hell?
Right.
This does not compute.
This does not compute. I remember I was dating this British dude. Like he stopped in the middle of the street, like, you're crazy. I was like, but you like it though.
I think this is a perfect time. I think this is the perfect time to make that transition, Crystal, to talk about how you're able to balance entrepreneurship, your dating, your relationship, and
your
love.
Family, your sons.
So I'll give it from a couple of perspectives, because like, as you know, I was married. I was married with 2 kids. We were together for 10 years, you know, and that's when I started my tech company in that marriage. While I was in that marriage, or shortly, well, I started getting into tech while I was in that marriage. And I really became a businesswoman. Like I was working my butt off. And then I think in that situation, I was like, I remember my friends would literally tell me, like, you are like the superwoman of balance. You know, like, how do you balance so well? And I was like, nothing is like, everything is important. Like, I gotta work, clearly. We gotta bring money in. I gotta spend time with my kids. I gotta spend time with my husband. And that it was just all very important. And I remember I used to tell like my colleagues, like men that I'd work with, like, you have to treat your wife like this is your most important client. You know what I mean? Like a $10 million client. And they were like, what? You know, like the concept was just insane to these men. You know what I mean? But for women, it's like you treat your husband like he's your most important client. You know, like the other clients do matter. You know, your clients matter, but your husband is your most important client. Your kids are your most important client. You know, like, so I would never miss any like little thing they did. And still don't, you know, we just went to some winter singing thing, you know, those things. I make sure my kids know that I don't want to be there. I'm like, just so you know, I do not want to be here, but I am here for you because I love you. So when I call you and when I need you to show up, you better show up.
and don't be going into therapy because I just said that, right?
And don't be your face better be smiling. You see how I'm smiling right now? I don't want to be here. But I'm going to smile. I'm going to clap. I'm going to be like, that's my baby. All that. I'm going to need the same when I got my conference and I'm on this boring panel that you think is boring and you better sit, you better clap and be like, that's my mama. You know, all that. You know. And the same in relationships. I think that like people expect other person to like want to do everything. Like we don't always want to do those things that you got to do to maintain a relationship. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like sometimes you're just tired. You don't want to have, you know, intimate time. You know what I'm saying? But you know you need to have intimate time. You know what I'm saying? You need to remember that when you want him to go shopping with you for shoes.
There you go. you got to think the bigger picture, right?
we got to balance, you know.
I'm putting those tips up on the chat, folks, because I want these folks to learn that. So
I like that. Treat your mate like your most valuable, important client.
Yeah,
it's very important. So once you know, I assume you guys. She has two wonderful young men, sons. They are awesome. They have actually participated in the tennis, the Pete Brown tennis program, and so did Cassie as well, whenever her time permitted. But she's a busy woman.
I need to come back to it.
Yeah, you need to come back. We miss you. So, so here, married woman with children, and then single woman with children, business.
Wow.
How did you balance that one, my sister?
Right. Yeah. So I remember like, so when I got divorced and, you know, when we separated, got divorced, I was like, wow, I got so much time, you know, and like, I still have the kids. It was just like, wow, it takes a lot of work to be married, you know, like I was working for him literally. So I had a lot of time and, you know, you just work on yourself. So initially, you know, I focused on myself, worked on myself, you know, got all super fine in the gym. I remember you know, when you get divorced, you get super fine. That's what we do.
Yeah, right. Mainly because the next time he see you, he need to see that you super fine, right?
Just like, baby, I'm looking good. It wasn't me. But you know what? It's funny. I literally just had like an argument with somebody that was like, "You don't have time for dating." I was like, "I do have time for dating. It's just that since I'm not dating, I'm just gonna work." You know what I mean? Like I love what I do, so it's like. It's not work to me. I work all the time, but I play hard. Like I literally am looking right now for tickets to Dubai because my girl called me. She was like, if you pay for your flight, I got your room. I was like, let me get my flight. You know? So like I play hard. Like I'm gonna, you know, go to Dubai and be hanging out and playing. But on the plane, I'm gonna be working. You know what I mean? At the train station, I'm gonna be working.
So let me ask you this, Cassie. What's the profile you're looking for a mate when you're dating? Does he have to be like over 6'2", 6'3", 6'4"?
You know what's funny? I'm gonna tell y'all a little story. I'm gonna go back a little story time. Story time.
Okay? Story time. I like story time.
I wrote a list once upon a time because my girl was like, girl, I wrote a list and she was getting married and it was
Lord.
on the list. I was like, let me write the list. Bought the candle like she said she did, you know, women do all this crazy stuff, right? Wrote a list. It was like 11 points, you know.
Oh, Lord.
Like this kindness, financially stable. It was like every little thing you could want in a man, which is interesting. Honestly, my list is like, it consisted, past tense, we're gonna get to this. My list was like financially stable, he works out, he eats well, good in bed, you know, that is important, you know what I'm saying? He's kind, he's kind, you know, he's got great communication. What else? He's funny, you know, and it's funny because I remember like men would ask like, oh, what's your list? And I tell them, they're like, okay, so you basically just looking for something unrealistic. You're looking for a unicorn.
You're gonna make a man. You're gonna
he said that. He's like, you're looking for a unicorn. I was like, baby, I just described myself.
Yeah.
So,
see, and that's what I was gonna talk about. That's why I asked you about the profile.
Like, other than like a height requirement, these are basic, like, human. You should work out every day. You should eat right. You should be financially stable or working towards it.
Oh, towards it, right.
What's the minimum? What's the minimum income can they make?
So there's no minimum income. It's about like, what are you doing with your life? You know what I mean? Yeah. Are you making investments? Because there was one time when I was broke as hell, but I would have dated me because I was building. You know what I mean? Like, I had a plan, and I have the capacity to make. My last job offer was $200,000. You know, I'm not making $200,000 now, but I know that's my capacity. I can make that. I'm focused over here. I'm building generational wealth. You know what I mean? Like, I'm investing in all these businesses. Like M.A.R.T.Y, we build apps, you know, and we do it at a lower rate so we can get equity. We'll take the equity because that's how you build wealth. You know, so. Yeah, there's no dollar amount. Six figures. What is six figures in Los Angeles in 2023? It's like,
really doesn't matter.
I remember that used to be so much money, but six figures, you still driving a Honda.
Six figures is 100,000 at least.
You drive a Honda and you live in a townhouse with six figures.
And in Los Angeles, 100,000 won't buy you a home. You have to make barely can you rent with $100 grand.
Right. Oh, somebody said cook. Oh yes, that was on the list too. He can cook. He can clean.
He can cook.
This is me. I cook. I clean. I speak 3 languages. Okay.
So you're looking for yourself then.
I'm looking for. Wait. Pause. Time out. I was looking for myself. And what had happened was I met this man and he had everything on the list, and I was like,
really? Get out! Everything on the list.
Everything on the list.
I'm gonna tell you about that afterwards. Go ahead, tell your story.
Even like I date men who don't want more kids. Like a lot of women, they don't date men with kids. No, I'm looking for a man with kids, so he don't want more kids because I'm not gonna have any more kids. I'm looking for a man with adult children, you know, or not. This man had a kid. He was cool. You know, so anyway, and just what happened was I wasn't in love with him. I just could not fall, would not fall. Years and years, like I tried. Like we moved in together. Like you told him, like, bruh, I'm like 80% in. Like if there's 100% is being in love, I'm at 80, maybe 85. He was like 85 is
good. See, that's a good thing why those lists are not that good. Because see, you got what was on the list, but the dude just wasn't the dude.
That's when I realized the list is bull crap. In other words, bull emoji, you know.
We got you.
The list is BS.
Right.
That list don't mean nothing if you're not in love, you know? Right. So the list is trash. I've thrown the list out, and now it's just about energy. It's like chemistry, energy. Yeah. Is it there? Yes or no? You know.
You probably have too much energy for some of these dudes, man.
I'm pretty sure that's true. Yeah, pretty sure that's true.
And that's always been my problem. Too much energy. Also, my list changed like yours. You had a list. Well, here's the thing. I think in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, your list has to change because you have changed and you have different dynamics in your life, right? So for me, my list is, can we communicate on the same level? Are you a critical thinker? And do you have a light vision? That's it.
I don't even think about none of that no more. Honestly, it's just like, when you walk in the door, does my face light all the way up? You know, and then when I walk in the door, does your face light all the way up? And that's honestly, that's my list now. Like, that's the list, you know. And then, yeah, it is difficult. What has been happening, like I may have dated like really nice men who were great, but they wanted kids. And I mean, that's just a deal breaker. Like, I cannot have your babies, bruh. I'm 44 years old. You know, like, I got 2 kids, grown, almost grown. You know, one is grown and one is on its way. I can't do it.
So Greg said 6 figures does not include the numbers to the right of the decimal.
True that. True that.
So here's the deal, though, Cassie. A lot of men, and you know, men are in different categories, at least 3, right? So a lot of men will tell you what you want to hear, just so they can get in with you. You see what I'm saying? They'll tell all the things you're saying, because when you present that list, they're going, "Oh yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me," and they'll say those things just to get in. And I'm sure after you get in and all of that, you go on a few dates, you guys do things together, you realize that, hey, you know, I'm not feeling this dude, because the things he's saying that he's about, he's not about that. And that's probably why this other dude, you curbed him. You know, you kicked him to the curb.
Also the chemistry has to be there. And
yeah, exactly.
And here's
Gilbert, I disagree. I don't think men do that. I mean, the men I meet don't do that.
You don't think they agree with you?
They don't. No, because they don't even know what I want. You know what I mean? Like, I literally tell them, like, I'm just looking for like chemistry, you know. So they're like, oh crap, like they're running blind. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know. So your best bet, sir, is just to be you, because you don't know what it is that
chemistry is.
Right.
Right. That's what chemistry is. It's about, like, even though you're messy, you can't cook. You might not make 6 figures, but we're just like right up when you walk in the room, you know?
Right,
like,
exactly.
And that's hard to come by, you know? So, I mean, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah. And then I'm thinking about all the things like, okay, that might be deal breakers. Like, okay, he wants kids. That's a problem. Yeah. You know, he is just not motivated to get up ever. And, you know,
yeah, right, exactly.
That's a problem. Like, maybe we might have had a spark in the beginning, and then that spark will start to die down once I see that.
Usually if you get a dude about 50, 60, they don't want kids. So
that 49-year-old British man who already had a daughter and wanted more kids. I was looking at him like, are you serious?
49?
Yeah, and if they haven't had any children, they may
had a daughter.
They may, if they've never had kids, they still have that dream. And if they meet this woman, so now we have a list. Y'all got a list too.
Our list is short though. Our list is short.
Model.
Probably model, look good, cook for me, clean for me.
I don't think y'all need that. I think it's just big.
Give me the cookies and I want it. That's it.
There you go. Yeah, y'all.
That's the list.
I think y'all are less flexible with your list than we are. Our list will go. It's like, okay, well, we ain't gonna get this. Let's scratch that off. Okay, let me see.
Your list is painted in blood.
Did you make me laugh this week? Okay, well, we'll scratch this one over here. You made me laugh, right? Right. So that's the difference. But let me ask this question. So you got a big personality, you're bubbly, you're funny, you're whatever. I know for me, sometimes just, you know, being who I am, and I don't hide me, and I assume you don't hide you either. You are who you are when you meet that person, right? But sometimes we can be a lot for a man, right? We can be a lot.
Yeah, we can be a lot.
We can be a lot, and they don't quite. And I've had, and I don't know, and I'm much, several years older than you, Cassie, but them feeling intimidated just by, not because you're a demanding woman, but because you are a put together woman.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have had guys. So here's also the trick. So when you do date men who are maybe not financially there yet, but you can see, you know, they making moves.
Yeah,
I've had them be like, you know, I've had them say that they felt, you know, insecure or, you know, intimidated.
They say that?
I've had,
Wow. Well, for me, that would be a disqualifier. Yeah,
it's
you got to
not,
disqualify them.
It's pretty much game over after that. You're like,
yeah.
You can't be intimidated by me, you know?
Right. And you don't even know how, just like she got a call, somebody's going to take care of her flight to Dubai. So she just got, or they got her, and she just needs to take care of her flight. But they look at you like, damn, you can fly to Dubai?
Right.
Whoa, I don't know, man.
And here's the other thing, that's my girl. You know what I mean? That's my girl that was like, I got you. I've had girlfriends be like, okay, I'm gonna take care of your flight and your hotel and all your stuff and your food. You know, like my girls spoil me like they my sugar daddy. So like it makes life difficult. With my girls. You know
tell your girl she's making it bad for the dude for you.
All my girls is making it hard for these dudes because they be treating me like the queen. You know, they like for Christmas. One of my girls is getting us a hotel. We're gonna ride our bikes down the beach. You know, like you can't let my girl outdo you. And we not romantically involved. Like platonic friend. She is killing you right now, sir.
Right. Yeah, her Annie is here and yours is down here. And then he's like, oh, damn, how am I keep up with the girlfriend?
he's got competition.
Right. No competition ain't other dudes. It's my girls.
Exactly.
They go so hard, you know. And I do the same. You know, I take my girls out to 5-star restaurants and, you know, we do it up. We go to, you know, Nobu and Malibu, you know, we go to Beverly Hills, the Vibrato, and listen to jazz. And, you know, I wine and dine my girls. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And you're living a life, whereas, you know, a lot of times guys, you know, I skied when I was your age from 30 to 45. I was on the ski. I was at a ski resort every weekend. Well, they didn't know how I was doing that. It's just that I was, right? So it looked like, well, she balling. I can't ball with her like that, right?
But again, if you would only realize, I think one of the best dates I ever went on, it was like, he was like a soccer player. He was a professional soccer player, but he was like so young. He was brand new. He didn't have no money. He had just got on the team. He was too cute, but he had nothing, right? So we went to Beverly Hills to a gelato spot. He bought me gelato. We walked all around Beverly Hills, ended up sitting at the park, chilling, hanging out, talking. One of the best dates I've had to this day. You know what I mean?
I would say that. Yeah.
He spent $6 on me. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about the money. It's
about the vibe.
What are you doing?
You know? The energy. Now let's flip the script. Let's flip the script a bit. So what is it that men are looking for that you think you can provide for them?
Well, it ain't a baby, so there's that.
Yeah, that's off the list. That's off the list. Because in order to meet a dude that you can vibe with, you gotta have an idea what he wants, what he's looking for too. So, do you have an idea what is it that those dudes may want?
I mean, I don't know what he might want, but I hope he's looking for a spark, you know, like romance, passion. You know, again, that's my top priority. And I mean, yeah, what I bring to the table, anybody that's known me for 5 minutes knows I bring a lot to the table. Like, I know how to make money. I have connections. You know, I can bring us money. I can bring us connections. I can, you know, balance a household, you know. So yeah, I'm definitely an asset as a wife, as a partner, as a wife. Like, financially we'll grow together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I would hope that someone would be like looking at me in that, you know, like, oh, she can help. Even if he's a billionaire, if you got 6 billion, we're gonna have 12 when we finish. You know what I'm saying?
One of the things that's important to a dude is the fact that areas in which he's weak, if the woman can step in and help to strengthening on that for him, that will be great. Like, for example, if he's running his company, running his businesses, right? And he's weak on marketing or is weak on certain types of things, you know, and if the woman can do that for him, that will separate you from any of the other chicks out there in the marketplace.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Actually, I had a boyfriend and he was a billionaire, and he used to just love to sit down and talk to me about like the things he was working on and give my opinion on it.
He's showing you how to do it, right?
Matter of fact, I need to call him for my percentage because I'm sure I'm owed some residual income.
But I do think, and I think that's on both sides. I think when a man takes interest in what you're doing, especially as women entrepreneurs, right? Not just like, oh yeah, she's in business for herself. I don't know what she does. She's just in business. But when you show up in a magazine or you show up in an article and they're like, oh wow, I saw that on social media. Congratulations, baby. Just because he's happy, because you're happy, right? That he is joyful over your success. I think that's really important.
But I'm also like, I'm super feminine. It's funny.
Oh, that's key right there. That is key right there.
Again, story time. Okay. So
story time.
I'm gonna make it quick. But I was up for a show on Bravo TV, like in the fashion space, and I had to fly to New York. I had to take a 6-hour personality test that was like insane, right? I take this personality test, and then you got to go to a psychiatrist because it makes you crazy to take this personality test for 6 hours. And I walk in and I had on a turquoise dress. I had a big pink flower in my hair. You know, I always wear flowers in my hair. Big pink flower. My hair was long. And she was like, oh. And I was like, oh. You know? She was like, this is not what I expected. And I was like, okay, what are you talking about? She goes, well, according to your personality, according to your results, you're a man.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
Like, but clearly,
I get it.
You're a woman. She was like, so I've never seen anything like that before.
I get it.
Right. So like I'm very masculine as far as like my work, my dog.
That happens a lot with career women. When you're a career woman, you tend to score high on the masculine scale because career women are aggressive, they're assertive, they want to make the bag, you know, they've got those leadership tendencies. You see what I'm saying?
And for me, it's not like I really didn't want to be. It's like I had to be. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to be all masculine. I wanted a husband to do that for me. You know what I'm saying? But
here's how you can neutralize that. And Greg asked this question right there. He said, "Can you submit to him as a king and then you as his queen?" That right there will neutralize that right there, if you can. So can you submit to him?
Absolutely. So what I was about to say, like, even though I'm very masculine in those ways, it's because I have to be. Like right now, like I gotta deal with my car. I gotta deal with like all the, you know, the masculine things of the household because I don't have a husband. You know what I'm saying? But I do. I love to cook. I love to take care of my family. Like holidays, you know, when I used to be married, like that was like I was very like housewife, you know, of the year. You know what I'm saying? However, you know, like now I'm a career woman. I work. So now there's a balance. Like I'm not, baby, no, you're not gonna have a fresh home cooked meal for me for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's not gonna happen. But can I cook twice a week? Yeah, I could do that. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it's understandable because you're single now, so you have to do everything yourself. You see what I'm saying? So you're gonna end up doing all the masculine stuff around the house. Even though you would love to have a dude in the house, you know, you're hear a little rattling sound at 3 a.m. You want him go and check it out. You don't want to be going down there. You see what I'm saying?
And like I would love to have a man to submit to. I would love to have a man that loves me enough to when I submit and be like, all right, you make the decisions. He's gonna make great decisions.
Right.
And us. Because I make decisions all freaking day. You know what I mean? I gotta decide what we're doing with everybody's life. I got 13 people's lives in my hand right now. You know what I mean? I don't want to make no more decisions after 7 p.m. Baby, you make all the decisions.
Right. Well, and she makes a big point. So and I think sometimes it's perceived that career women don't want the roles. I personally believe there's a role. Men have a role in a relationship and women have a role.
That's
they can be interchangeable, but I like the general. I need him to be in that place, and I will be in my place. Now we may cross. Exactly. We may cross over every now and then, just based upon what's happening in our lives at that point in time. But he'll go back and step in. I have a girlfriend, Cassie, that her parents were married for like 50 years, right? and they're Cuban, or they were Cuban. They're no longer here. But I used to go in, and she'd be singing to her husband. She would be he get, because he's a Hispanic family, he get his meal first, and they had a love song, and he'd be sitting there with his pipe, just lavishing in that love, right? And so then he walk out the room, and then she's like beating down her children. It's like, wait, what happened?
What happened to that kind, gentle singing woman before?
So I said, Mrs. Bellamy, how do you do that? And she says, Cristal, or she calls me Recita because I like to smile. Recita, I am the neck that turns the head. My husband runs my household, but
that's what I'm talking about.
Turns the head.
See that right there? That's a feminine woman right there. I love that.
And women, but most of us, provided that you step up to the plate and you present yourself, then I will present that side of myself.
Right. Sometimes I feel like men, they're like, oh, can you submit? I'm like, what am I submitting to? Who are you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, when the man comes to the table, he needs to understand that he's supposed to provide security and take care of the house, take care of the woman, all of that. He needs to pay the bills. That's his role. You see what I'm saying? So if he's doing those things and making you feel safe, secure, pretty, feminine, as a woman, then definitely submission is required. Then you see what I'm saying? Because
I agree. Like he's holding it down as the king, as said, you know what I'm saying? He's doing all the things he's supposed to do. I don't even have to work, but I work because I want to. When he come home, he got food. If I don't cook the food, I done got the food. You know what I'm saying? I done hired a chef to cook the food, something, but if he's looking out for me, I'm looking out for him, and that is something that I do miss. I do miss that. I do miss having a person that I can think about, oh, what am I gonna cook for Babe today? Or what's he gonna eat? Because men tend to not even think about what they eating. You know what I mean? Like I have a neighbor, older Black man, right next to us at our office. The other day he was eating peanuts and orange. I was like, what is happening right now?
He was doing.
You obviously don't have a woman.
I didn't want to say nothing because I didn't want to talk about his wife, but I made him a meal. I made him a whole meal. Like I gave him half my food because I was like, this is just unacceptable, and so I'm doing this for the office neighbor guy. What do you think I'm doing for my husband? Yeah, and I think guys, they tend to see strong women like Crystal and I, and they think that, we can't submit, we can't calm down. We can, but it has to be the right man. It has to be a man that's going to, my seatbelt on my car been broke for months, right? And I've literally let every guy that I have even thought of dating know this. And the fact that not one of them has been like, you know what, Cassie, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna call and I'm gonna get that seatbelt for you.
And I've had guys to do that, and then I've had to reverse. In fact, I ended a relationship, Cassie, because my car, it had to be pushed out of a driveway and moved into it wasn't working, and I was going out of town, so we wanted to get it off the street, right? So me and my sister, we were standing. The neighbor across the street was standing out there. The guy I was dating was there too. Oh, so my brother-in-law was home, but he had just had a hernia surgery, so he couldn't do any pushing. So me, my sister, and the guy across the street moved the car into the garage, and I'm going, what's happening?
We had to break up. You gonna watch me push this car? You gonna watch me push this car?
Yeah, we were on our way out of town to visit his mother for Thanksgiving.
No, he didn't just stand there and watch
you. Stood there and watched, and you know how long the drive is from LA to San Francisco. It was a very quiet drive. I didn't want to argue because his mother had been waiting for us to come, and she was excited. So afterwards, dude, this ain't gonna work.
That dude. Yeah, you and that dude weren't on the same page, man. So
No.
Yeah.
that's right.
That
But
wasn't even on that, Gilbert. That wasn't even on the. Forget that we were dating. That
yeah,
wasn't even a man and a woman standing in the same
yeah,
same space.
I mean,
yeah,
that ain't even like two
exactly.
friends. Again, my girl would help me push that car. Okay.
Yeah. But you
Right.
know, it's amazing. Now there are some men, right? There are some men in the simp category who can play a great role that way, right? There are also men in the high value man category who can play that role as well. So a lot of times there's certain guys, and this is said, this is stated, this is a fact, that 80% of men out there are invisible. Women don't see them. They don't see them because they fall within that category below the high value man.
Okay.
So so that's a big reason why a lot of women who gravitate towards other types of men, and you notice I talk about the height and then the salary and all of that. That category right there, it has about 5 to 10% of the men out there. And that 5 to 10% of those men are dating the same kind of women.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So so then the other 80% of dudes, they're barely getting any game because most of the women don't want them or see them.
But let me tell you, so I do these like random Tinder experiments sometimes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I like
Just
that.
like to amuse my girls. So I did one experiment where I was like, I'm gonna just swipe right on real average looking dudes and tell you what happens, you know. So
Yeah.
it's so funny how the average looking dude's the first one to ask you for a picture.
Yeah.
and very specific. Oh, can you send a full body picture? I'm sorry, Mr. Sir with a beer belly and a receding hairline. Are we dating aesthetic? Is this about aesthetics, or are we going to talk about other things? Because I didn't swipe right on your beer belly for you to judge my body, you know?
Right.
So yeah, it seems to be like the least attractive men are more concerned about attractive women, you know, which is interesting.
Well, I think Gilbert, to that though, I think we as women don't necessarily judge who we're going to date by what he looks like, especially as we get older. When we were in our 20s.
Yeah, the younger ones want to look good and all.
Important when you're 20.
Hot.
30 body parts, okay. 40, 50 body parts. Can we get into the gym together?
You want a protector, a provider at that point, you know, someone who can give you some real love.
But men, on the other hand, everything is about the looks. Yes. I think they really judge by first thing off. That's the first thing that they make their decision upon.
It's in our DNA. We're wired that way, even though we don't want to do it.
Problematic, you know, like sometimes they're just so about the way you look, and I've literally had to tell dudes, hey bruh, like, you know, I'm a human being with feelings and emotions, and I don't look like that every day, you know what I mean?
But you know what,
like,
though,
I don't think I'm pretty every day, bro, you know what I'm saying?
a lot of men after, you know, they've been out there in the marketplace for a while doing their thing, you know, dating all kinds of women, they recognize that the looks isn't that most important anymore. They start looking for character. They start looking for, you making the dinner for them, like you said, you know, the neighbor eating an orange for dinner, and you're going,
they got to get to that place. So for them though, that look is something. So I too, not as much anymore as not Tinder for me, but other dating services, right? And for me, they'll see your picture, love the smile, love the, whatever your bio is, whatever you put up there, and they just love all of that. And then they text you, go, hi, and you go back, hi. They go, you're beautiful. And you go, thank you.
You're beautiful.
And go, you're really beautiful. And it goes on like forever. That's why Cassie's doing that. And it's like, okay, we have established that I'm beautiful. I have a beautiful smile. Can we get past hi, you're beautiful, and you have a nice smile? Is there any other conversation?
Is there anything else?
A lot of those dudes don't have game, Crystal. They don't have game because they're
Gentlemen, listening. I'm gonna tell y'all what to do. Okay, this is what you do. You want to date a woman? this is what you do. This, you will win this way. If she has swiped right or messaged, she is interested. So you say, you know, hey, whatever, nice to meet you, da da da. How would you feel about, you know, meeting me for coffee here at 7:00 p.m.? People like me, especially like, you know, women who are like aggressive, high career women, you know, these types of women are going to really like that. You know what I mean? We're gonna be like,
10
yeah, we
seconds
might
or less.
video chat you first, just to make
10
sure.
seconds or less. Come on, 10 seconds or less. Make it. Come on, tell me what you want.
Yeah, no, I want him to make a plan. Do you know how many this person said? I literally have dudes. I could screenshot y'all the WhatsApp messages from a year ago, and literally his message is, "Hi, how are you?" Every goddamn day. You know, and I'm like, for a year, bro, what we doing? And I'm just like responding to see how long he gonna do this for. You know what I mean?
Does he text you in the morning? Hi, beautiful.
Oh,
are
yeah.
you up? Are you awake?
Hi, how are you? Every day. Hey, what's up? What's up? Are you gonna ask me out?
No, I am with
hey,
her.
what's up mean to death?
A lot of women hate that.
You will get a whole, I mean, it could go on for a week, or 10, 15 days, the same, and you try to go, well, so what are you interested in? Beautiful, how are you today? Okay, wait, did you not
I tried. I even give my version of what I would want him to give. So today I went to work and I had a really nice time, and I painted the office, and then my son did this, and then afterwards we went to a play, and that play was really interesting. How about you? Chilling.
Folks, for those of you who are just tuning in, this is the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. We're having an amazing show. Our very special guest is Miss Cassie Betts. And we are talking about entrepreneurship, relationship, love, and how you can balance it too. And man, we're learning some great things here for guys. There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys who don't understand how an entrepreneur female operates. So, folks, if first of all, an entrepreneur female is a different breed. Okay, you have to be ready to date someone like that. You know,
actually, it's not difficult, Gilbert. First of all, we're in business, right? Communication is the number one priority in business.
Right.
So you've just been able to have a conversation with us. That's a really good step right there, right, Cassie?
Yeah, I'm a sucker for like a conversation. I didn't definitely try to break up the dudes, and they didn't have a great like rebuttal, but that was so good. I was like, okay, we're gonna keep trying. That was a good rebuttal.
Guys, you cannot come to the table with a weak game, okay? You cannot come to the table with a weak game.
But wait, I want to give some tips and tricks about like, so, you know, when I was in my 10-year relationship, or now if I am dating someone seriously, so some of the things that mean a lot, have meant a lot to me and him, I think, are like even just like bringing him lunch to his job in the middle of the day, or him bringing me lunch, or him coming to have lunch with me, like, you know what I mean? 2 or 3 times a week, it is like a significant, it means so much.
Those are important. Those are value right there. Right. Those are the good currency for the relationship.
Yes. And then like actual dating, you know, people, they start off dating and then a year in or whatever, they might stop. Like you got to still go out on dates.
Consistency, man. You got to continue to do that.
You know? And you got to still, don't just, fall into a routine. You know, the dating part is part of still getting to know you, activating the chemistry, right? All of those things is all part of it. When we been dating for a couple of months and he's like, oh, okay, you my woman now, let's sit at home and watch television. No, let's not do that.
Right. I mean, I'm not sitting at home watching TV too, but not every day for the next 6 months.
Right. Exactly. Got to keep the excitement going and engagement.
So for both of you, if a dude makes less than you do, is he a candidate? Is he a contender for a date with you, or he has to make the same amount you make or more? How does that work?
I'm with Cassie. Money doesn't matter to me because I'm going to take care of myself.
Because you got your own money.
Yeah, I make my own money, and I probably Cassie as well, because of her. I was taught to take care of myself. And so I'm not looking for a man to come in financially to take care of me. If he wants to, and he's in that position, I'm not going to turn it down, but I also will want to do my contribution. So money doesn't matter to me in this sense. I mean, I've dated guys that didn't have a car and I had to be the chauffeur, right, at the time. But like she says, if you have something that you're working on, something that you're moving forward to, and you're trying to make it better, then I don't have a problem with that.
You know, both of you are not the norm. You know that, because usually a career woman generally don't date down. They don't date down. They date on the same level or above. But you guys are willing to do that.
I don't know. I think it's like 50. I feel like it's less women, because I mean, I have these secret dating blogs, right? So I have these blogs that I've started, these blogs that I'm a part of, with like thousands of single Black women, to be specific. And the majority of them are not concerned with a man's financial, with what he's making. So it's just not true. If you did a survey of 200 Black women, I guarantee you that it'd be like 60% don't give a damn about how much they make. And that's just what y'all think. But like when I was in my 20s,
different.
You know, and I was in, like, it was literally survival. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember being like, I wouldn't have eaten if I hadn't gone on a date type situation. So I didn't have time to be dating men that didn't have nothing, because we can't be broke, both of us broke. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was when you're surviving and you really like don't know how you're gonna eat, don't know how you're gonna pay the rent, and you haven't like made it as far as your career or whatever, or you had some bad stuff happen to you. Like I was homeless when I was a teenager. You know what I mean? So this was survival for me. I couldn't date the broke dude, but I could date dudes who had money, who I actually liked. So like I actually liked the men who had money, but I would be very focused on men with money when I was in my 20s and broke as hell. You know?
Well, because like I said, every decade is a different need. I do think that so no, we're not real concerned for. I think I'll speak for me. Me is, if you call me and go, baby, how was your day today? You got me, right? Because you're
listen.
Concerned. And listen to it. Not necessarily give me any feedback. Just listen.
Oh, no, I need feedback. Because I used to date a guy, and he'd be like, he would talk about his day, his life. Finally, he'd ask me, how was your day? And then I would tell him, and he'd go right on back to his day, his life. And I'd be like, I don't think he really cares about my day. He wasn't like, wow, that's really hard. I'm sorry that happened to you. Like nothing, you know, like we keep talking about your day and your life, you know, like.
And in this day and age now, it's so much harder. First of all, where do we go to meet people, right? Because we're not it's not like we were in college where we had, ready men, right? Here in Los Angeles, we don't necessarily have a social outings. You don't like in your 20s, 30s where you went to the club. We don't have that.
Right.
And if you're hanging out with your girls, most men are not going to approach a bunch of women, but you're not going to sit at home. So you're going to go with your girls, or you're going to go by yourself. And the men you meet are in the workplace, right? Or the work environment. And, that happens sometimes, but most of the time you're really leery about that, because what if it doesn't work? But we got to operate in the same place, right? So it's challenging now, man.
Co-host, I think you should reopen another dating get-together spot, because for folks, over a certain age, because other than the club, like you say, there's nothing, So if you can do that, man, that would be great. It'll be a great little.
So Cassie, you don't know this about me, but when I was about your age, I actually started a dating service. This was before all of the Match.coms and all the online. We actually had a personal. We introduce you. We evaluate.
It was successful.
It was successful. We actually set you down. We talked to you. We found out what he liked. Found out what you like. We'd have socials, and introduce you to them. We'd play, games to ice break and those kind of things, conversations, what he wants to hear, and it was very successful. It was an intangible, so it was very difficult, and before Match.com and AOL, so very difficult to find investors, or even forget the bank loan. I was like, oh yeah, that's too far out there for us to invest our money in.
Right.
And so we were funding it, and we were making matches, but we really needed a major infusion of cash in order to really take it to the next level. And at that time, my girlfriend was dating a guy that was working, he's a tech guy as well, and he was working with Earthlink, and we were looking like, well, maybe we need to make this, and so we never did. I think they broke up before we could get to that place. Look at this. We could have been
took one for the team.
But today, dating services have lost a lot of their initial enticement, I think, because of what we just said. The you're beautiful, and never can't get past that. It's like a lot
but
of
at the same time, this is the best way to meet, really.
Yeah, because that's it right now.
Right, because we ain't going to the club, and we ain't going to the bar either. You know.
Yeah.
And what they say, meeting them at the laundromat in the supermarket.
They're not gonna come up to me, you know.
or in the gas station. None of that's gonna happen.
You know.
Excuse me, miss. Are you single?
And what's even more rare is like an attractive man to approach. Because unattractive, boy, they so brave.
You know who I find to be the bravest? Unattracted and married men. They don't have right.
So brave. I don't know why attractive men. Yeah, it's like clear. You be looking at him, he be looking at you, and you be like, "Are you just really gonna stand there?" Like,
yeah. And here's what I found. So you go, okay, should I go over there? Because you're going through this whole debate thing. Then you say you go over there, and then something happens with the dynamic, right? Because you've become the aggressor, and he's no longer the chaser, longer the chaser. So now you didn't change. Before you even got started, you didn't change the dynamics of the whole process.
Yeah, I think I did that twice. I approached a dude twice, and both times it was like the next message was like, "Okay, so you coming over tonight?" Like, oh damn, you know, like
you'd already thrown off the chase. And now you've become the chaser and the aggressor, the hunter gatherer.
So I don't approach.
It doesn't really work. Some maybe, but in my experience, it doesn't work, right? Especially
folks, I hope you guys are listening. These are two entrepreneur women, and they're telling you how to make things work. So I hope you're taking notes, guys. This is how it works. Don't go going, hi, how's your day? Hi, how's your day? Doesn't work that way, guys. You got to make them feel like they want to talk to you.
Right. And then once you get us, don't make us have to push the car or fix the
You know what date I would like though? If a dude is like, oh, actually a dude did do this. He was like, oh, let's go work at a co-working space. I was like, oh my God, yes. That sounds like the greatest day of my life.
Right, exactly. I mean, it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much, right? We satisfy with little things.
Greg said that he had to take a call, so he missed the last 15 minutes of the show. Greg, we're going to send you the link so you can check it out. You missed a whole lot, man. These ladies are telling you, they were giving some nuggets here, man. You missed it.
Exactly how to get us.
Yeah.
Kathy, you have been just enjoyable.
Oh man, we gotta bring her back in January, man. She is phenomenal.
So the takeaway from this is we definitely are looking for someone. We have no problem rising you up to your role as a king, long as you rise us up to stand beside you as your queen. That's really, and Greg said he's happily married, so he's cool, and he has a wonderful wife. He is a wonderful person, and when that man finds that person, he's usually much more content than when he doesn't. Right?
Yeah.
It's just that chase of trying to get there is so challenging.
Yeah. See, once a man finds that woman that brings that level of peace to him, comfort and tranquility, they mesh, they vibe. That is just beautiful, man. And you don't see them going anywhere. They're staying with that person.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. My girlfriend that I just came back from South Africa, when we celebrated her 50th birthday, her husband's like that. They have meshed so well, and they just renewed their vows in 20 years.
It's beautiful.
My brother-in-law and his wife, my brother-in-law's sister, we just celebrated their 40th anniversary just last weekend. But there was some adjustments in but he has such a peaceful spirit that he was able to calm her down. And she would tell you she was a handful. So it's just finding that right group.
That yin to your yang.
Your yin to your yang.
There you have it.
But it's hard out here in these streets.
Look, if she ain't blocked you, you got a chance, bro. You can see the right. Stop, hi, hello, how are you? How was your day? Please what's the point?
Greg said, he said, I had to cycle through a lot of throwbacks to get to his wife. So it's the same on the male side as well.
That's why when you find that person, y'all need to figure it out, work it out, keep it right, because it is hard out here in these single streets. It's not.
It is.
It's hard out here for a pimp.
You don't want to be out here. Back to your wife, back to your husband. Y'all don't want
to. When I've had girlfriends like, oh, I don't know, this is just so hard. No, you don't even know hard. Stay
work your marriage out.
Go to
unless it's something crazy.
You know what's amazing? There's this woman co-host. There's this woman that she was married for 25 years to this guy. They got married early when she was 18 or 19, right?
Wow.
And she said she decided to leave him because she got bored. She left the marriage because she was bored. I'm going, what? And now she's crying and complaining that she can't find anyone. I'm going, what were you thinking? I mean, marriage is gonna, you can have issues, ups and downs, just like with family, just like with, your job or something it's gonna be ups and downs. So both people, and that's why I'm a strong believer in therapy. I believe that people should do therapy, counseling before they get in relationships. Because there's so much to learn and so many strategies to apply. Because certain things in the dating world, we just don't know it. And getting an objective third-party view on it is really a good way to get you to listen to the other person, see things from their perspective, and approach it differently.
Yeah. And one of the things is, so when friends of mine is like, I'm thinking divorce, girl, let us sit down and have a real hard conversation. I've been single all of my life. and let me tell you, you don't want to do that. You want to sit there and do everything you can. With the exception, if he's got a substance problem, he's gambling, or he's just mean and surly and he's battering you. No, you can't stay there for that. But if it's, personality thing or something that you guys, something silly that you're arguing over and you guys can't get past to it, go to a counselor and help and have them teach you the tools to be able to better communicate with you. Don't come out here in these single streets, not today in 2023.
Not in these streets.
No. It's and there's no formula. There's no formula dating older, younger, in between, your same age. There ain't no formula.
That's true. It's situational, man. Situational.
Yeah, we've all, us single women, we done it all. Let's just trust. We didn't done it all.
So will both of you compromise? Will you guys kind of lower your standards to work with another guy, a different guy, or?
There's certain things that I have to have that I've found over the past that just doesn't work. So me being an entrepreneur, dating someone that does a 9-to-5er just don't get me, right? They just don't get me.
Yeah.
A person that is not well read or interested in reading or current events or socially conscious, that's a little bit of a problem for me because of what I do for a living. So I found when I was skiing, if they're not interested in some of your curricular activity, you find yourself doing everything with other people and not with them.
And they that's don't not him.
Yeah, if they just want to sit in the house and watch TV, yeah, that's cool sometimes, but not all the time. So for me, it's more that is how our personality, and the biggest thing for me is, can we be friends without the physical stuff?
So it's a possibility then that this guy
without the physical stuff.
No. What? But no. Can we establish a friendship first?
Oh,
right.
There's still physicals. Okay.
Yeah. Would we be friends?
Well, you need a roommate, girl.
No. Would we be friends? Would I want you as a friend? Like all the guys I've dated, with the exception of one or two, we're all friends. We've been friends for years and years. A couple of them I actually even matched up with. Some of my girls was better suited for them than me.
My girls were not happy. They were like, "Don't you ever."
She didn't know. I didn't tell her, and I didn't tell her. I just knew that they would be better matched than me, and they were. They work well with each other because I knew both of their personalities. But
to answer. Gilbert asked about compromise. And again, the list, there's no list. Compromise, yeah, most definitely, because that's just anything, any friendship. The people I work with, my kids, my friends, my family. Compromise, you got to compromise. You can't get everything you want all the time, you know. And honestly, I'm pretty like laid back, easy breezy. Like when I go travel, all my girls are super duper alpha. So I'm like, I take on like laid back role when I'm with my alpha girls, or if I have an alpha man. Thank you. Oh, my son just See,
that's the kind of thing you're talking about right there. See that? That's the kind of thing he needs to do for you, right? Just bring some stuff to you.
He walked in the door and he put a smile on my face. Like, bro, you can have my son outdoing you, bro.
True that. But sacrifice is not a problem if it's if we got all the other things lined up.
If you would love, this is why I'm so like, I protect my heart and I'm so careful and I'm cautious. Like I give men a chance, but I really want someone who's going to take care of my heart. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I don't feel like he's going to really take care of my heart, I'm just like, nah, I'm good, because I know that when I give my heart, literally anything he wants, you know?
Yeah.
So you need a caretaker for that heart, that corazon.
I like take care of my heart. I'm gonna take care of him. I'm gonna do what I'm supposed. I've been proposed to 5 times, y'all. 5.
Yeah.
I know how to take care of a man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do. But yeah, it might. There might be. It might be challenging to lock me down. It might be a challenge. Now that true.
So, does he have to be an entrepreneur, or can he be an employee, or an employee?
I don't think that matters.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
I think it's easier if he is. But again, if you're crazy about somebody, what time you get off, baby? 6 o'clock. I'll be there at 6 o'clock. You know.
Because a lot of entrepreneurs prefer to date entrepreneurs because they understand they understand things. They understand how it works. See, a lot of people who are employees, or if they don't work, they don't get what we do as entrepreneurs. You see what I'm saying? So they have these unreasonable demands on why you got to go to this expo. Well, it's a Saturday. Why you got to do this? What kind of networking event goes on till 10 o'clock at night?
All of them, baby, all of them.
Yeah. You see what I mean? So all of those things, it just create unnecessary stress. So, and some people who don't get it, they just won't get it. So that's why I wanted to know.
You can't just like cut out all the 9-to-5 people, because they might totally understand and be, y'all might mesh and vibe. Like, I think that's just what matters. Every person is different.
Right.
And so, we have our few things, because again, I'm not having nobody's baby. I don't want to have a surrogate baby. I don't want to adopt a baby. I don't want no more babies. Okay. So
off the list.
That is off the list. And that's probably the number one reason why, like, I've stopped dating a lot of the guys that I date, because if they even look at a baby like, oh my God, I'm like, no, it's over.
So Greg said for many the list is unreasonable. What do you say about that?
What? The problem is one list. You need 4 lists?
No. Your must-have, your needs, your wants, and your like. So I don't know if you have I don't know, right? I'm with her. I don't really have a list now.
I don't have a list no more.
It's about a feeling, a connection, our communication. How do we both fit in each other's lives, especially if we're both very independent, and our life situations have been different. And I love what you just said. You have somebody to protect your heart, and you will protect his heart as well. Knowing, especially if they are coming from some pain, making sure that they're healed already is important. I do find I connect with people that teach like I do, and especially if they have an affinity for helping our children and our community, then we got something that we have in common.
Something in common.
Yeah, well, it's more about a commonality and the things that we can have conversation with and share together. Travel right now. Travel is big for me now, man. I need you to be able to do the let's go.
Yeah, let's go to Dubai. Let's go to Dubai.
Right? So a remote worker is good. Let's go.
So I think the first question then when you meet this person is, hey, are you a good caretaker of the heart? Because if not,
I would never ask a guy that.
Why not?
He's just gonna say, yeah, sure. I mean, you look at his relationships, you look around him.
Yeah,
how does he treat his kids.
Exactly. Then you're gonna give him the follow-up questions, just like in an interview. You give him the follow-up question.
And I don't even think it's that. I think just having conversation and keenly listening.
Yeah.
Throw in some triggers that will get a conversation going. Maybe be a little a protagonist here and there, just to see what the reaction's gonna be. But you gotta listen, and and when you hear what could be a red signal, then you need to kind of delve into that a little bit more. You can't ignore the red signals.
Can't ignore the red signals, the red flags.
No, you cannot.
My kids call me half a flag. They say, Cassie, half a flag. Cassie see half a flag and be out. Is that orange? Is that flag orange? Oh, I gotta go.
Cassie in the background is going like this, a little wave. Okay, gotta go.
No. Because I have had such traumatic, like my past has been so traumatic, and men had a lot to do with that. And I'm so very careful about who you bring in your life can really make or break you. The next man that comes in my life is either going to elevate me or he going to take me down. You know what I
mean? See, that's another thing too. When you meet a potential mate, you want to know if that person will be able to represent you out there in the public, and just like you would represent them, because you don't want anyone, you got people you're writing grants for and all of that. You don't want anyone out there creating any mess and any embarrassing moments for you, putting it on social media and all of that mess you up. You can't afford to deal with that. So they have to be a good representation of you. They got to be your ambassador, your representative.
You're
right. Don't embarrass me, bro.
Oh yeah, man. They have to come back to your world and go, yeah, it's all right. It's I was tripping. I had a moment. Well, Cassie, it has been absolutely wonderful. I've enjoyed this conversation as I knew I would. But we have we're very similar actually in personality and our obviously our dating histories.
Yes.
Wants and needs. But yeah, guys, you've heard it from two of us. Our next guest, we're gonna have to find us a man that's gonna be willing to share and be as transparent.
We'll use our field correspondent, Greg Sneed. He'll share with us.
We need a dude that's out there in the single life.
That's out there in the streets.
Cameron, but he's only he swear he an expert. Cameron read 2 books, watch 5 YouTube videos, and he thinks he's a relationship expert at 19 years old.
Yeah,
ask him if he watches Fresh and Fit. Ask him if he watches Fresh and Fit. Ask him.
I'll ask him.
Yeah, you posted something today that said that this morning was the first thing that I saw.
Did you see it, Gilbert?
No, I didn't see it. I didn't see it at all.
Your relationship advisor.
My oldest told me that I was down 12% in my
in your what?
My approval rate. My approval rate.
Your approval rating.
Yeah, my approval rate was down 12%.
So what did you do to get a demotion? What did you do?
The decrease in my approval rate at the polls was due to the fact that I have went on dates with men that I didn't think was the one. And he was like, why are you wasting time dating men?
Oh, you know what? That is very important because that's serious for a lot of men. Because a lot of men, in their mind, they're going, why is she going on the date with me? Is she going for a free meal? She has no interest in me. So and that's probably why he's saying that. And
I was like, well, because, I still, we're having fun. A girl's got needs, mom, I was like, I'm not about to be celibate for 5 years. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So he might be the one tonight.
So what Cassie just wants you to sit back and wait till that one just rolls around.
I'm supposed to just know that he's the one before we go on a date. First of all. So on date 1, I'm gonna be like, hi, so you're the one. And he's gonna just still sit there, right?
And then that's when he's gonna go, hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you? What did you hi, how was your day?
Here's what I say for the 19-year-old. Let me come back and have a conversation with us when you turn 26 and you didn't have that first heartbreak, and let's see if we're still having that same conversation.
He's like, I only take one girl at a time. I'm like, well, you have the privilege to do that, I ain't got time for that. Like, I don't have a whole relationship with a guy that I think may or may not like. We don't do that.
So he gave you the L on that one. He gave you the L, right? Instead of the W.
She gotta work on her poll rating. Get her back up.
How can I get my poll ratings back up?
So Cassie, this for the last 2 weeks of this month, until we get to 2023, you need to be working on a strategy, girl.
I gotta only date guys that could be the one, I mean, I've done that before, and that's very boring.
well, maybe since you got rid of that list now, maybe the next guy could be the potential one, right?
Well, and sometimes it's just about the fun.
For now.
Sometimes it's just about the fun.
Yes.
I just need to hire Crystal as a matchmaker. Crystal.
There you go. Crystal has history, man. She's got history. She's been doing that thing for a while now.
Crystal, can we do a whole show around that?
Yeah, there we go. What are the importance? Well, we got some feedback. So, and then it's that, but that's why there's so many reality dating shows. Ready to Love.
Crystal, I think you should though, man. I think you should. You should be the local relationship guru because you already got that background. We got the platform now. We can do it.
It was a team of us that did it. We had a team.
Dang, you did a whole team.
We got a team, a couple other girlfriends of mine.
We got those personality profiles that you do.
I had a psychologist, the whole bit. We had the whole bit. But yeah, although I do think that the best way to meet someone is to be introduced by someone within someone else that knows that person and they know you. And they can see things about you that you don't even see, and then they can put together. I do think the yenta situation is good. Sometimes like in the East Indian culture, they still do arranged marriages because of that, because the families come together, they review everything. Kind of what happens in that world, right? In the Middle East, they do that as well. But marriage, here's what I'll say.
My best friend arrange my marriage.
There you go. Here's what I'll say.
She would do a great job.
Dating in this century is not for lightweights.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
So,
co-host, I think you should do it, co-host. I think you should start up the dating thing.
I have to talk to my girls when we had our business.
I'm thinking about maybe I should get a matching, matchmaker.
Yeah,
actually, I have thought about that. Yeah.
I don't think the women pay, right, Crystal? That the women don't pay.
Women pay.
Yeah, some of them depends. I think I would rather pay because then I'm not just accepting whatever, and it's because if he's paying, they're looking for his needs. Right. If I'm paying, we looking for both our needs. I would think that would be well invested. That would be an investment that would be well worth it.
I think you should do it, man. I think you should. I'm behind you all the way if you did it.
Yeah.
And Cassie will be on the wing going, let this thing happen.
No, I'm with her. I think if you can't, finding a good matchmaker to put you together with some individuals that might be better suited for you or better than the ones that are walking off Tinder or some of the other places. And here's the thing that I really liked about dating services in the very, very beginning. Mm-hmm. You knew exactly where they stood. If they wanted to get married, they stated it. Yeah. Now, if you cold turkey, that's a hard subject to bring up. What's marriage look like for you? You don't even want to talk about that, right?
Yeah, so a lot of dudes won't even go there. They
won't even talk about it. So that was the best thing that I thought about with the dating services was they would say, I'm in looking for a long-term relationship, want to be married, want to have a family, whatever it is, this is what I'm looking for. So that was early. That was the beginning. Very transparent about what their needs were.
Right.
Now, Cassie, I got to give you some props here. Cassie, is that what did I say? Isn't that say Cassie?
Kathy.
I don't know.
So Cassie, what I've observed with you is amazing. Okay, you're very jovial. You're funny. And that score points for you on a dating situation. You see what I'm saying? Because most guys like it when the woman is just funny, not over the top, but the way you say and do things, man, you make guys crack up. I mean, you have me over here cracking up and shit. I'm going, damn, I'm good. She's funny, man. She's funny. She said some stuff here that, and see, you're the kind of ride or die chick that a lot of guys like. You see what I'm saying? That most guys want a ride or die chick.
Why we gotta die though?
well, that means you'll stick with them to the end. That's what it means. You stick with them to the end for whatever.
That's why I'm very careful, because once you got me, yes, I'm gonna stick it through and through.
Right, exactly.
But that's why I'm like very careful who gets me, because Does he deserve this?
Yeah.
Does he deserve for me to ride through all this?
Yeah.
You know, like that's a lot.
No, I agree with you. You gotta. It is just not something you can't take it lightly nowadays.
Yeah.
I love what you say. You got to protect the heart. It's so important to protect the heart.
I think you're a good woman. You know, you're a good person. You know, you're funny. You're likable. That's smart. You know, you're very likable, and that's the key. You know, you're not the kind of person who's going to show up on a date and, you know, start looking at the dude a certain way. You know, dudes go, man, you know, did I make a mistake coming here? He's in for a fun time. You see what I'm? Even if you guys don't vibe, you guys will just have a good time, and then after the end of the date, just say, okay, nice meeting you, you know, and you all go your separate ways. But you're just a fun person, and I like that.
I kind of wish there was an app where you could like legit be like go in as friends first, you know? Like I used to like I wouldn't say we were dating because we were like literally taking it very slow. He lived in New York, and we were just like, okay, let's just approach this, no expectations, friends first. And it was actually probably one of the healthiest, like, because we were just getting to know each other, going very slow, like, and it was just more real. And I think that, like, if anybody would take the time to get to know me, like, as a human, as a person, my heart is big. You know what I mean? Like, I will ride and die for those that I love and those that I care about. But it takes a lot to get on that squad. You know what I'm saying? Until you're on that squad, they're looking at me like, you are evil. I'm like, your car got a flat? That's bro, I gotta go.
see what you just described can happen, but only if it's long distance. Because if it's close distance, a lot of dudes, you know what they want. They're gonna be trying to be friends with you, but after a while, they okay, all right. I expended this amount of time here. What's next? You know, what do I get now? But if it's a long distance and you guys can vibe, you can do that friend thing, and you can start build up your likeness for him. He builds up his likeness for you, and then when you guys get together, it's a beautiful thing because you guys already broke down all that walls.
And if it does happen here, which I actually have. I did date a guy who we were friends for real months and months of just hanging out and getting to know each other. And he could have won. He's around. But the problem is he wants a kid, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
see those type of deal breakers, there's no way around that. I mean, it is what it is.
Even when they say they don't want kids, you know when they want kids, you know? So that's just a big
because those are life changers right there, man. If you don't want children,
I'm not doing it again.
Right. And if they don't have children and they want it, I've broken off relationships because, you know, when I was more like your age, I dated younger guys. And so I wasn't going to have children after a certain age. And so they still wanted children. It's like, okay, you need to go find that woman that's going to do that. This is not me. I'm not that woman. Yeah. So you go do you. And we can be friends because we just here we're not compatible.
See, that's why I look at a certain age right now, Crystal, because at a certain age, you know, perhaps 60, I don't think a 60-year-old dude may want a kid right now. You see what I'm saying?
He's a little old for me, but
is a little too old for you.
Yeah, there's some other stuff that go along with 60.
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
Looking like Zaddy, because if he's 60, he got it together.
Let me ask you this. How old do you think I am?
I have no idea.
Guess. I know. Guess. How old do you think
50s, I am? 50s something. I mean, I know you're older than me, probably.
You sure don't want to say 40? I'm 64, but you can't tell. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of 60-year-old dudes who have a lot of energy like me, and even better. You see what I'm saying? So you never know.
It's a conversation to have.
Yeah.
I mean,
you need to grow in a silver beard and have that like silver like Zaddy thing on.
Oh, you like that? You like that?
Yeah.
Do you like that?
You seen that picture of the guys in the silver fox?
I don't know why men think they gotta dye their hair and cut off their beard. Women like silver.
Yeah, right, exactly.
We really do. Like a beard is like makeup for men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
let that hair
looks
grow
good on
in,
them.
gray pepper, salt and pepper.
Yeah.
That's so fly.
I think you should step up your range a little bit to about 60, because the 60, yeah, that will eliminate the need for a kid. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
Because
55, 55, they probably are not looking for children.
Well, 55, 60,
I don't think
that
I
kind
have
of thing.
any age, you know, it's not about the age. It's just about like, again, attraction.
Yeah.
Well, the attraction could be there because
not my last one, but the one before my last boyfriend was 10 years younger than me, right?
Yeah,
and the
but
one
he wants a
him
kid.
was almost 15 years older than me. So clearly, but he literally looked like Wolverine. I kid you not. I mean, literally for Halloween, we dressed up. I was Storm. He was Wolverine.
You dressed up and he didn't.
Him in the streets, like, can I touch you? Can I just touch you, sir? So yeah, he was almost hitting on 60, but he was hella fine. You know what I'm
saying? You know, your age. I all the guys I dated up until 60, even 60, were 10 to 15 years younger than I am.
Yeah.
Mainly because of the energy level.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going out with a guy right now, and we're the same age.
Oh, really?
That's always
time.
Weird.
And same age, same time. This is like since
never happened
in 30 years.
So co-host, you actually dating a geriatric, an older dude?
Right.
Because I know a co-host, she dates the younger ones, you know.
My co-host. Hey, give you life. I ain't gonna lie.
Old set in the ways kind of person.
I gotta go take my Geritol right now. My bones are creaking.
Well, guys, we're gonna have to wrap this up because I got a Christmas party. It's been awesome though, Miss Cassie.
Thank you for being on the show. We really appreciate you.
Lots of laughs.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
You know you have access to this link after the show, right? Because it's live. It's live on YouTube right now.
It's actually already on her Facebook page.
There you go.
Yeah, it's already trending on her Facebook page.
Cool though.
Okay. But it's been awesome, my dear.
We're going to invite you back in January.
Yeah, we'll continue on the conversation, a different aspect of the conversation. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah, we can do one on like how to, do your dating profile, because I am a little bit of a guru. So for whatever reason, everybody calls me for like dating tips and advice.
Okay,
so I don't know how I became that person, but some way, somehow I am amongst my girls. So because I do be right. I'd be right about everybody else's relationships, just not mine.
We'll have a class in session on on how to write the profile.
Yeah, and then Crystal will tell you, how the dating agencies run and all of that. So I think that would be great. So
for the guys, find me a match. Okay.
For the guys, please have more than a 5-word syllabus.
Hi, how are you? How was your day?
Right.
Hi,
like,
how are you? How was your day?
You're beautiful. You're
beautiful. You're beautiful.
It's like it's stuck on repeat. You're beautiful.
Right. Like, do you just like copy paste this to like 6 girls every morning?
You have a beautiful smile. Okay. Well, after they go through all of your pictures.
we gotta help Cassie get back her 12 points. Get her up back.
I gotta get my 12. I gotta get my approval rating.
Get your approval rating up to 12 points.
I gotta just find one guy and date him. Clearly, who's husband?
Folks, you've been watching The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert and our amazing guest, Cassie Betts. And we're talking about entrepreneurship, relationship, dating, and love. And this is what we do. This is a series that we started. We started this about 6 weeks ago. And we're going to continue this into 2023 until we are able to help entrepreneurs balance their life, their love, and all of that.
Yeah.
Now, our very special guest, Miss Cassie Betts, we're also going to have her do a profile on our next show. When is our next show, co-host?
Well, we have to work on our next show right now. We have a couple coming on next, and a couple who've been married for a number of years, and they're going to talk about, and they work together. So we're going to talk about how they've managed to do that and be able to have a balanced home, business, and love and relationship life. So that's our next, is the couples that work together, which is a whole nother dynamic.
Oh yeah.
So, Miss Cassie, thank you so much for being a guest, and you have a very Merry Christmas, and you and the boy, you got your tree up and all that stuff.
No.
Okay. Neither do I. We're going to work on that this weekend.
She's gonna farm it out. She's gonna farm it out.
The ghost of Christmas past is gonna come visit me because I'm like kind of a Scrooge. Like I don't have a Christmas tree. I don't do Christmas. I'm like Scrooge.
Yeah, that's me. That's me too, man. That's me. Too much work. Too much work.
It's stressful. Like I was like, I asked the boys, "What do you want? Where do you want to go in the world?" That's what I'm getting you for Christmas. Period. Done.
Okay. Yeah, you guys recently went to Rome, and you look like you had a fantastic time.
I took the boys to Rome for last Christmas. That was their Christmas present.
Hey,
Christmas is Japan.
You know what's a good Christmas gift? It's not that expensive, and I'm sure they'll appreciate it. Go to Costco's and get them 2 gift cards to Catalina Island. They would love that.
No, not my boys. No.
No, they don't like that.
No, they're gonna sell it. If I gave them that, they would sell it.
She literally took her boys to 10 days in Italy. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Catalina
Cameron loved it.
Yeah.
The oldest loved it. The youngest was like, "Can I go back to the hotel?"
You know, in Catalina, right? There, I don't know if you ever did this when you go. You went there, right? You've been to Catalina?
I've been to the camping side with the tents, and that was interesting.
That's, you got to go to the vacation part, right? And then during the day, you go on this little exploration out in the woods, right? And they have buffaloes there. And you get to try. Yes. So see, that's another part of Catalina that's great, and it's fun. You know.
Yeah. Pretty cool. I like the jazz festival that's there.
Oh yeah.
I have a girlfriend that they got married. They're still married today. They got married in the casino. It was great. We had a fantastic time. We all stayed on the island, and her husband, who had broken off his previous engagement. So when we went to Catalina, everybody was saying, "You ready for this?" He goes, "Yeah, I can't swim back to LA. I can't swim back to Long Beach, so I'm here. I ain't running. I'm stuck." And so, but we had a fantastic time.
There's so much to do with Catalina, man, because they have a submarine also, which the boys will like. There's a submarine that you can go on, right?
Her oldest is 19.
Yeah, he'll love it. I was like 40 when I went, and I loved it. It takes you underneath the ocean, right? And you see those trees under the ocean, and you go, "Wow, this is amazing!" Yeah, I'm telling you, there's so much to do. There's so much.
I have to make them leave the house. That's now. Remember when it was like going outside was like what you wanted to do, like so bad you want to go outside and play. Now that's like the punishment. Get outside.
Yeah. Why you so mean, Mama?
So mean to make them go outside.
All right, guys.
All right, co-host, and thank you, our guests.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we'll definitely connect with you guys again next week from 3 to 4:30. This is the Business Zone with
Christo
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic, and we're out.
And Miss Cassie. Bye-bye,
Miss Cassie Betts.
Bye.
Ciao.
As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an